Hello everybody, I'm Dustin Benzel, and I want to make a quick warning real quick. I know this is preluding my Pokemon 4th generation anime reflections, but I just wanted to let you know that I've I've been looking at these recent videos and I've noticed that I've been saying a particular phrase a lot, and it's basically "and stuff like that." And I want to apologize because I can understand how it can be very annoying that that's what I'm actually doing. Um, so look at the videos and when you actually see the video, there's actually a video where I actually realize, I don't know what video it is, but there's a video that I realize that I keep saying and stuff like that way too much. I don't know exactly when. I can't remember. I have to look at through the videos and stuff like that. And I have to look through the videos to check it out and stuff. I have to check through the videos to find that particular phrase, so it'll happen later. But anyway, what I wanted to address real quick is it gets annoying, I understand, but in the comment section, I want you to tell me how many times I specifically say and stuff like that in this particular Pokemon video, not counting this warning. And it has to be and stuff like that. It can't be something like that and everything like that. Specifically and stuff like that. Maybe the and doesn't need to be there, but you got my point. Alright. So, this concludes that. I will, you can now see my 4th generation Pokemon Reflections anime of 4th gen. Again, I apologize. I realize it's very annoying rewatching this video that you're about to see. Even I was annoyed. So I super apologize for the constant phrase and stuff like that. So let's get into the Pokemon video. Hello everybody, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to 4th Generation Anime Reflections. I don't know how many parts this will be, so just think of this as part 1, and you'll see in my parts and stuff like that. I know this is definitely going to be broken up into different parts and stuff like that, so, this might be 2 parts, it might be 3 parts, I guess we'll have to see. First off, let's talk about 4th Generation in general, before we get into the anime. Um, I think everyone can remember at a time where there was a huge distance between 3rd generation and 4th generation, at least in terms of everything that happened during that time. Because if you remember correctly, the first 4th generation Pokemon that was revealed was in fact Munchlax. And it was so it was so revealed. It was revealed so early that in fact in 3rd generation May actually caught a Munchlax, and in the filler saga between 3rd and 4th generation, Brock actually caught a Bonsly. Now, anyway, let's move on to 4th generation and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very weird that those Pokemon were revealed so early, and yet 4th generation was nowhere near around the corner, which is odd because May caught Munchlax before the filler saga. Anyway, sorry. Let's jump back into 4th generation. Now, we can all say that we were probably looking forward to the Pokemon that were revealed for 4th generation, as opposed to, like, say, 5th generation and stuff like that. So, um, in terms of Pokemon designs, I would have to say 6th generation is my favorite designs of all the Pokemon, as opposed to 4th generation that had a mild. But, 4th generation was really good and stuff like that. It was really nice seeing a plethora of Pokemon being revealed. Like, I um, like, yeah, Purloin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a 5th generation Pokemon. Kind of like, what is it? Glameow. Oh yeah, we can remember Glammeow, and I think there was also Chatot, and all those Pokemon that were revealed in weird fashions of some sort and stuff like that. And then we got into the anime. Now, unlike say sixth generation in terms of Pokemon design, fourth generation anime is my absolute favorite generations, and you'll see in these reflections why they are my favorite. So let's jump into the anime. Now, if you remember the beginning of fourth gen, it revolved around Dawn primarily. It was Dawn's introduction. She got in. She showed up. She was writing to Professor Rowan in, I believe, Twin Leaf Town or something like that, or wherever Professor Rowan's gym was at, or gym. Laboratory. His lab, and Dawn didn't know what Pokemon she wanted, and all of them pretty much escaped for the most part. Chimchar, Turtwig, and Piplup, all because of a Star Raptor that happened, and then Dawn went and she went after those Pokemon, and then she bonded with Piplup, and then she ran into Mesprit, yeah, Mesprit and stuff like that. One of the Lake Trio legendary Pokemon, Mesprit, Azelf, and Uxie and stuff like that. So, well, she didn't really run into Mesprit, but she ran into a shadow of Mesprit. So she didn't exactly see it per se, but she saw a silhouette of it and stuff like that. And that'll probably be mentioned later on and stuff like that. And then near the end of the episode, we actually have Ash showing up, and he's got his Apom and stuff like that, and Pikachu. And then Team Rocket shows up and captures Ash and or Pikachu, and then Ash only has Apom and is chasing after, and that ends up going into the next episode, which revolves around Pikachu being tired and being bonded with Dawn. Um, Ash, I believe, catches a Starly at this particular moment, and Brock comes back in this particular episode after his I think her name was Claudina. Claudina had a boyfriend, and Brock was like, "Yeah, look at that! Look at that's my girlfriend. What? You have a boyfriend?" You know, that particular scene that was hilarious and stuff like that. And then we moved on to I believe Paul was revealed at this particular moment, or the third episode, somewhere around there. And it was basically the end of the second episode or the beginning of the third episode that Ash reunited with Pikachu, Dawn met with Ash, and everything like that. And Dawn decided to travel with Brock and Ash, and we found Professor Rowan talking to Professor Oak, as well as the battle between Ash and Paul, which started the rivalry. Then we moved on and on and on and on. The next Pokemon that Ash caught was Turtwig, followed by, I think it was Chimchar, I believe. Yeah. Well, Starly evolved in Starly between that, and then Ash caught a Chimchar, which happened to be Paul's Chimchar that we saw in the episode that Paul battled Ash and stuff like that. Because we all thought that Ash was gonna have Turtwig and Paul was gonna have Chimchar, but as it turned out, when Cynthia's episode came out, Paul already had Torterra, revealing the fact that Paul had traveled to other regions and stuff like that, and stuff like that. And then we moved on. Then Ash and Dawn traded Apom and Weasel. And then Ash caught Gligar, and then fast forward to the near end of it, where Ash releases Gliscor because it evolved at this particular moment, and captured a Gibble. And then, well, he didn't release Gliscor, he sent up Gliscor to training. Sorry, I had to make that distinction. Um, and then we go into the league and everything else that happened as a result of that. And then we go to Dawn, who ended up getting she caught Piplup, or she didn't catch Piplup, she got Piplup. She caught Baniri, and then she caught Pachirisu, then she caught Weasel, then traded to with the Apalm that quickly evolved into Ambipom, and then she also got Cyndaquil and Togekiss, and as well as Mamoswine, all later in the series. With Apalm being released for Ping Pong. As for Brock, the only new things he got was pretty much Happiny and Krogunk. And he's brought in his Bonsai evolved into Sudowoodo, and that was pretty much all Brock had during the entire series. So that was all their Pokemon that happened and stuff like that. Dawn did contest right after May. May introduced contest. Dawn continued on with contests and everything like that, and she got into the finals of the Grand Festival against her rival Zoe, and she got second place, which was more than anything May ever got, because the Grand Festival in Sinnoh region was a little disappointing in terms of contest battlers and stuff like that, because if you remember correctly, when contests were revealed, there was all these high hitters and stuff like that, like Robert, I believe, was one of them, who had like a Milotic or something like that, and he helped Ash, and that's when Snorunt evolved, and Glalie and stuff like that. And then there was Soledad with the Slow King, Lapras, and other stuff, and I think she had Pidgeot as well. I think she had Slowbro. She had one of those Pokemon and stuff like that. So, third generation had heavy hitters for contest battlers and stuff like that. But Sinnoh, during that particular Grand Festival, it was pretty much rookies, pretty much for the most part. Um, Nando was pretty much a rookie. Zoe, I don't know if she was technically a rookie, but yeah, anyway, so that happened with Dawn. As for Brock, that's when we got a permanent release of Brock from the anime, because Brock decided that he wanted to become a Pokemon doctor. If you remember correctly, Brock's goal from the other generations were to become a Pokemon breeder, or the best Pokemon breeder and stuff like that. And that was basically raising and taking care of Pokemon and stuff like that. And as it turned out, Brock decided that he wanted to become a Pokemon doctor and stuff like that. So that's when Brock stopped being on the team with Ash and stuff like that, and then we got introduced into Silent and Clement, and who knows what other future generations will reveal to us later on. Um, so that covers that. So pretty much covers so basically at the end of everything, Brock actually got a Chansey. I remember Happiny evolved into Chansey in like the last few episodes. So Brock's end team was Chansey, Sudowoodo, and Krogunk. As for Dawn, it was Piplup, Baniri, Pachirisu, technically Cyndaquil that didn't evolve until after 4th generation into Quilava. Mamoswine and Togekiss, and Ambipom was Gonzo, basically. So that pretty much covers Brock and Dawn that I wanted to mention. I'll probably partially mention them later on in these parts and stuff like that, because they are related to Ash and stuff like that. So I just wanted to cover that and stuff like that. I would think technically Dawn is one of my favorite traveling companions with Ash and stuff like that. But that's just personally my opinion and stuff like that, because Dawn and Ash seem like they had a good bond to each other. Iris was lacking, and while Serena, I think, definitely has a deeper bond with Ash. I just like the bond between Ash and Dawn, because it was one of the more serious bonds between Ash and one of his female traveling companions. Misty was being tomboyish and kind of rude and arrogant, and she didn't really seem like she liked Ash. And then Misty lasted until 3rd generation, and May and Ash kind of had a distant kind of bond relationship. I mean, they had a close relationships in term that Ash really did help May come into her own path and stuff like that. But it was really Dawn and Ash that had that serious bond to each other. And then we had Iris and Ash, who didn't exactly have very much of a relationship. It was mostly a callback to Misty and stuff like that. So, and then Serena does have a serious relationship with Ash and stuff like that. But it was Dawn that really had that first serious bond relationship with Ash and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of like Dawn as a traveling companion, because she really was there. She really did seem like she was really there for Ash, a really good friend to Ash and stuff like that. Serena is kind of acting like Dawn a little bit in similar cases like that, but that's only because Serena and Ash actually have history with each other, as opposed to like Dawn and Ash, who like pretty much met for the first time within the series and everything like that, while Ash and Serena met long, long time ago in Professor Oak's thing, stuff like that. Anyway, rambling about other generations. So let's jump into Ash and fourth generation, and I have to say, the reason why fourth generation is my favorite anime is not only because of the bond between Ash and Dawn, but the Pokemon. Now, what did Ash end up in the Pokemon League? Basically, he had Pikachu, he had Staraptor, he had Infernape, he had Torterra, he had Weasel, he had Gliscor, he had Gibble and stuff like that. And I have to say that of all the generations that have happened, there had the strongest team in his fourth generation. He had two fully evolved starters. He had a basic stage pseudo legendary Pokemon. He had a strong bird Pokemon that was primarily about brute strength and stuff like that. Swellow was strong, but Swellow was more about speed. And although people will disagree with me, let's keep in mind Swellow had a lot more time to battle with Ash than Staraptor did. So I believe Staraptor is outright brute strength stronger than Swellow, even if Swellow can compensate more so with its speed. So Swellow might be able to beat Staraptor in a battle between Swellow and Staraptor, but if we're talking about battling like bricks or something like that, or smashing bricks, I think Staraptor would beat Swellow in that particular instance, because I do believe Staraptor has a lot more brute raw strength than Swellow. Swellow's strength comes in from the fact that it's fast. It's fast and it's also slightly strong. When you add fast and a bit of strength, you get something that's superhuman strength in general and stuff like that. So I really like the team. I have no idea why they waited until fourth generation or why they stopped doing this, but fourth generation, the reason why I like it so much is it was so in depth. Now, a lot of people didn't like fourth generation, maybe because it felt like it was too long. There was that year gap between the battle with Candace and Volkner and stuff like that. So I can see why people were like a little disappointed, because it took like almost a year between that battle. But the thing is, there was just so much content between them that people just aren't even focusing on that. I mean, really, if you look at it, there was so much stuff that happened between Candace and Volkner. Let's just give you a hint of what happened. Dawn, for example, she got Togekiss, she got Cyndaquil between that scenes. Ash's Chimchar fully evolved. Grotle evolved. Gliscor was released. Ash caught Gibble and stuff like that, and all this stuff happened, and everything else like that happened. So yeah, I mean, I can understand that the long wait may have been unbearable, but there was just so much content of contests and everything that happened with Ash and stuff like that, that it's kind of disappointing that people only focus on the duration rather the content. And I feel like, again, this has to do with what I think I said in like my that hasn't been released yet, because I have other things to focus on, but this reminds me of what I said in remakes, and my viewpoints on remakes, sequels, and reboots, and about how people are just so spoiled about the next best thing that they can't stop and enjoy what they are getting and stuff like that. I realize that may be contradictory to some of the things that I believe in life, but that's entirely different. When it comes to entertainment, it's basically enjoying what you have, because the next best thing probably will happen, but if you're too in much of a rush to get there, it probably won't be as enjoyable or as satisfying. So, like I said, fourth generation is my favorite because in terms of Ash, it is the best team that Ash ever had. It is his strongest Pokemon team ever. Now, people will say, well, what about Hoenn? Now, I will admit that Ash had a good team with Hoenn, but the problem is it wasn't very fully evolved. The only thing that we got was basically Swellow, and I believe that was it. There's Pikachu, Grovyle, Swellow. Oh, there was Glalie too. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting. There's 5 Hoenn Pokemon, Dustin, not 4. Um, so while his Hoenn team definitely did stand out as a pretty strong team, let's not discount the straight up appearance of fourth generation. In this particular case, Ash's fourth generation Pokemon looked really strong because he had the right amount of Pokemon. He had quite a bit of fully evolved Pokemon too. Now the difference is Ash had 3 fully evolved Pokemon in 5th generation with Crocodile, Leavanny, and Unfezant, and they were part of a 3-stage Pokemon, and that's a little bit better than, say, Sinnoh, who that only had uh, technically 3 fully evolved Pokemon, but 2 of them were part of the 3-stage Pokemon and stuff like that. So while in Unova, there was definitely that stronger boost and stuff like that in terms of Pokemon evolutions and stuff like that. Fourth generation did definitely come out stronger looking than fifth generation. Now, the great thing is the fact that there was a lot of callback to Ash's other Pokemon. We saw Glalie. Um, we saw pretty much a lot of Ash's Pokemon at this particular moment. We saw Torkoal, we saw Swellow, we saw Sceptile, which knocked out a Darkrai that has been undefeated prior to that particular moment, by the way, which I will address when we get to the league and stuff like that, because I got to say, even though that was badass and cool and stuff like that, the reaction to Ash beating Darkrai was a little bit anticlimactic, and I'll get to that and stuff like that. So let's flash back to the beginning and let's talk about the gyms. Now, I would have to say overall, fourth gym surpassed any other gym battles with anything because they did put a lot of care. Now, I realize a lot of people are going to be like, well, Dustin, what about Ash's Chimchar and Infernape and stuff like that? Yeah, I can understand that a lot of people might not have liked that, but there was a reason why I liked it. But we'll get there when we get there. We'll discuss Ash's Pokemon later on. So let's talk about the gyms right now. Ash's first battle with Rourke, Craniodos, Onyx, and Geodude versus Apom, Pikachu, and Turtwig. Now, here's the great thing about that battle. Even though it first ended in defeat while Paul was watching and stuff like that, and Ash was being too cocky and stuff like that, and he was trying to show off Paul and he totally forgot what was ahead of him. The great thing about that battle is Turtwig always beat Rourke's starring Pokemon, or at least his strongest Pokemon. In the beginning, it was Craniodos versus Turtwig, and Turtwig actually beat Craniodos. At this particular moment in time, I believe Apom and Pikachu lost without anything, and it was a horrible, disappointing 3-on-3 and stuff like that. But the thing about it was that, yes, indeedy, the weird thing was, sorry, it's really cold and stuff like that, so, oh, man. Anyway, as I was saying, sorry, versus Rourke, it was pretty good. The rematch was a little bit better with Craniodos evolving into Rampardos, Pikachu beating Onyx, which was really cool since Pikachu is dwarfed by Onyx. So it's really nice when you see Pikachu knocking out those gigantic big Pokemon and stuff like that. And then Apom beat Geodude and stuff like that. And what's great about that gym battle is because Turtwig actually beat Craniodos and then further beat Rampardos, which really cemented that Turtwig was pretty powerful in the beginning of the beginning of DP, Diamond and Pearl and Platinum or whatever. DP series, the fourth generation series and stuff like that, anime. And so we move on. The gym battles, I have to say, they had weird gaps and stuff like that. Some were like 6 episodes, and then we had a year length between gym battles and stuff like that. So the next battle, I believe, is Gardenia. And that's when we were introduced. I think Gardenia was introduced around the same time that Cheryl was introduced. And if you remember, Diamond and Diamond and Pearl were really well known for their characters, where those side characters that would travel with you. There in Diamond and Pearl, there were particular moments where you would reach a particular part of the story inside the games, and you would have a traveling companion and lead them through and stuff like that. There was Cheryl, there was Mira, there was Marley, and there was Buck. And the cool thing is all of them actually showed up within the anime. Buck took until the league, but we did get Marley, we did get Mira later on, even if Mira was just a weird episode involving Sandshrew or whatever the case. The fact is that those particular in-game traveling companions actually showed up in the anime, which was really nice. Now, I don't know if Platinum added any other traveling companions that traveled with you in the game that didn't quite make it into the anime, but it's been a long time since fourth generation has been out. It's been over let's see, 2006. It's almost been a decade, actually. It's been like 8 years since Diamond and Pearl came out. So yeah, it's been a long time since so I can't quite remember everything about those games and stuff like that. So anyway, this was when Cheryl, I believe, came out, and she had a Burmy that evolved into a Motham and stuff like that. She had Wormadam as well, and I think she had maybe Chansey. I think there was a Pokemon that she had that can use Attract. It could have been Wormadam, but I'm not really sure. Um, anyway, then Gardenia was revealed, and Gardenia had Cherubi, Turtwig at this particular episode, and it was a small practice spot. The great thing about generation is they introduced the gym leaders, all of them, before the gym battle, and even sometimes after the gym battle, they would show up, and stuff like that. And I can't think of any particular gym leader that this was not the case. Let's see. Rourke showed up later. The only one that might not have actually had much was Rourke's father, and I believe that was Byron. I believe Byron did not really show up much at all, and it was just everyone else. So I think Byron was the only one that kind of got screwed over in terms of gym leaders, I believe. Well, there was Crasher Wake, I believe. Yeah, Crasher Wake didn't really do anything, but he did show up, in that particular moment. And so it was Crasher Wake and Byron that really didn't get a lot of screen time within the anime. So let's go back to Gardenia. Now, the great thing about some of these gym battles is that some of them actually take place outside of the gym as practice battles and stuff like that. So Ash can test his skills. Now, the weird thing about Gardenia is that she had a Turtwig as well, and this is because in game she had a Turtwig and stuff like that, which is kind of unusual because that really needs to happen more. There needs to be more trainers out there with starter Pokemon, especially the gym leaders. If there's a fire gym leader, a grass gym leader, or even a water gym leader, you would think that they should have starters just because then because they are options and stuff like that. And the thing about fourth generation, there's actually quite a few grass Pokemon that came out, so it's not like Turtwig was actually needed and stuff like that. That's ignoring all those past generation evolutions that happened after the main Pokedex and stuff. The main Pokedex afterwards and stuff like that, like Gliscor, Electivire, Magmortar, Yanmega, and stuff like that. Anyway, so then we get into the gym battle, which was like a quite a few episodes after Gardenia's reveal or episode, and that was a very weird episode because this is when Turtwig started being fast. Because if you remember correctly, Gardenia's Turtwig was really fast, and that's what Turtwig learned. And this is important later on when we get to that particular moment. Right now we're just focusing on the gym battles. We'll talk about the individual Pokemon later on. Uh, so then, what we had is we have Staravia that beat a Cherubi. We had Turtwig beating Turtwig, and then we ended up with Apom battling Roserade, which was Gardenia's ace in the hole, or ace in the hole, or ace in her sleeve, or however phrase you want to use it, and stuff like that. Where Gardenia, that was her strongest Pokemon, was a Roserade and everything like that. So we got a nice Apom beating Roserade thing and stuff like that. So then let's move on to the third one. Which was Maylene. Now, this one was a weird one because this is the one where Dawn actually battles Maylene before Ash does and stuff like that. And we get a reintroduction into Lucario after the Lucario movie that happened during the third generation filler saga. And wouldn't be till later, but Ash recognized it was Aura Sphere and Lucario and stuff like that. And it was a callback to the I think it was the eighth movie, which was Lucario and Mew and the Tree of Life or whatever it was, and stuff like that. And then Maylene was having some trouble being a gym leader because she was a new gym leader and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. She's been like a gym leader for a few months or something like that. And then we get a flashback. That's when Reggie was also revealed, and I believe Reggie is Paul's brother. I believe his name is Reggie. If it's not Reggie, then I apologize. eh, it's kind of hard when you're just like focusing just in your memory and stuff like that. That's when Reggie was revealed, and he was Paul's brother, and Reggie is a different kind of breeder than say Brock or something. Reggie actually trains the Pokemon. See, Brock's breeding is a little bit different in that he just grooms them and he takes care of them and he makes them really nice and stuff like that, and kind of like a prelude to being a Pokemon doctor, I guess, with a spa treatment and stuff like that. Special doctor that treats your illnesses and your injuries, but also gives you a massage and snaps your back. It's like that kind of breeding. But Reggie's breeding was taking care of other people's Pokemon and then like raising them, pretty much, kind of like daycare like person. At least I think so. I think that was the case or whatever. So what we got there is we got Paul's Electabuzz at that particular moment because evolved from Elekid in the tag battle when Ash caught Chimchar, or when Paul released Chimchar and Ash got Chimchar and stuff like that. So moving on from there, then it was the battle between Ash versus Maylene, and this is where Ash used Chimchar, Staravia, as well as Weasel. Now, this was an interesting battle because this is the battle where Staravia got 2 wins, which was really nice. It beat a Machoke and Meditite. This is a little disappointing because that means Chimchar did not get anything, and it was the first gym battle that Ash used Chimchar after getting it from the Tag Battle Tournament arc that occurred with Paul, Ash, Brock, Holly, Conway, and Dawn, and stuff like that, and everything of that nature. So then we go further. It was really nice because Starvey got some nice wins, and then it was just Weasel versus Lucario. The thing that was slightly disappointing is that it ended in a tie, which means that Ash and Maylene both lost and won, pretty much, depending on how you want to look at it. And Ash got a badge out of it, the Cobble badge, if I'm not mistaken. And that was kind of disappointing because I would have liked to seen some resolution uh, because Maylene was the start of Ash's downward streak in regards to Lucario that didn't get broken until Ash battling Korea. Sorry. Which is very unusual because if you think about it, Corinna and Maylene are both the third gym leader for their respective regions or generations, and they both have fighting Pokemon, and they both have Lucario. They also have Machoke as well, which is kind of rather disappointing because I would have much preferred that Corinna had a Pangoro at this particular moment instead of Machoke or something like that. But the anime isn't known for their unique choices in Pokemon. So yeah, whew, it's almost time for me to cut this part, but I'm going to continue with the gym battles and stuff like that. I'll probably go into detail in the next part and stuff like that, but I want to just go over the next gym. The next gym battle was against Crasher Wake, and Ash used Turtwig, he used Weasel, and he used Pikachu. Turtwig didn't get anything, but Pikachu beat Gyarados, and Weasel took out Quagsire with the Ice Aqua Jet that he learned from Dawn, and then he perfected in that um, contest with Wallace as well as May returning, and Zoe was there, and May beat Zoe, but Dawn beat May and got the Wallace Cup ribbon and stuff like that. That's when Ash used Ice Aqua Jet or whatever, and that's everything that happened there. The great thing about Crash Awake was, though, is that Ash didn't lose any Pokemon during that battle. Ash pretty much dominated Crasher Wake. I mean, there was some worry that maybe Weasel or Pikachu would lose out, but the thing is, Ash didn't lose any Pokemon. Ash recalled Turtwig before it was knocked out, so Ash still had Turtwig to use, technically, unless they forgot to add that scene into the gym battle. But yeah, that was pretty nice. Then we move on to Fantina. The great thing about Fantina is that she's actually a coordinator as well. I don't know if she was a Grand Festival winner or a oh crap, a top coordinator or something. Top coordinator. What's a coordinator, Dustin? Well, I don't know. You're gonna have to find out in the next video. Top coordinator. I don't know if she was a top coordinator, but she was a pretty good um contest person, stuff like that. In fact, she was because she's a gym leader, so I think that's why she had a little bit more prestige when it came to contests and stuff like that. And she was actually used in the Heart Home contest, I think after the gym battle or something like that. I remember Fantino was a special judge. I know I'm talking faster than normal, but I'm trying to get this part so I can stop this and move on to other things and stuff like that. So, the great thing about Fantina is that she showed up quite a bit before the Heart Home Gym. Ash was a little upset because if you remember correctly, every other time that Ash went to Heart Home City and stuff like that, Fantina was not there. And that's because Fantina was traveling, and I guess she was a little confused with what's going on. I think she might have been doing contests and stuff like that. And that's when we got Counter Shield, which was helped by Ambipom and stuff like that. And it was like, I don't remember. It was that one town between Heart Home, I believe, as well as whatever city that has Gardena in it or something like that. I think it was between Gardenia and Heart Home. Lava Ridge? No, Lava Ridge is home. Sorry. Anyway, it was one of those weird places. It was like Celestia or whatever, something like that. It's when Dawn battled her mother's rival, Laya or something like that. Sorry, I'm just jumping all over the place. Anyway, that's when Chimchar really started getting really good wins. It beat a see Weasel beat Gengar. Pikachu lost without winning and beating anything, and then Chimchar beat Miss Magus, and then ended up beating Drifblim, which was the start of Chimchar's 2-win streak in every gym that it participated. Because then after Fantina, after 6 episodes, oh that's right, Fantina was also when Barry was came out into the anime, which was another rival of Ash's at this particular moment in time. And so, yeah, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I just want to get the gym battles all over with so I can stop this and then move on to the next episode of discussion of reflections, stuff like that. So then we move on to fourth generation, or the next gym, which was against Byron, which was Rourke's father. And Rourke was a rock type, and Byron was a steel type. And that's when there was Bastiodon, um, Steelix, as well as Bronzor, I believe. And this was at a particular time where Gligar had evolved into Gliscor, and I think it was the only evolved Pokemon at that point because I don't think Staravia quite evolved into Staraptor quite yet, even though it wasn't even in the gym battle. So Ash used Weasel, Chimchar, and Gliscor. Weasel didn't get any wins at this particular gym, which is kind of unfortunate because it wasn't really used much afterwards, after this particular moment, and it wasn't used very much, and it didn't get very much wins until Paul's Gastrodon. It did end up beating Mr. Mime, but that was canceled out by the fact that it already lost to Mr. Mime earlier in the episode when it was learning Ice Punch. Sorry, I'm rambling all over the place. Sorry. Anyway, this is what happens when you're trying to rush it so you can have a good time to stop it and move on to the next part. So what we had is we had Byron using Steelix. This is where Chimchar took out Steelix and Bronzor, lost to Bastiodon, and this is where Gliscor took up its shining time, and this was like the only gym win that Gliscor was ever going to take place, especially when you realize what the next gym battle had and stuff like that. So that happened. So then we move on to Candace. Candace had Abomasnow, Medicham, Snover, and Abomasnow, and this is the only 4-on-4 gym battle that Ash ever partook in 4th generation, and Ash used Pikachu. No, he didn't use Pikachu. My bad. I apologize. He did not use Pikachu. He used Chimchar. He used Gliscor. He used Staraptor. He used Grotle, Chimchar, Gliscor, and Staraptor. Everyone pretty much got a win except Gliscor. Staraptor beat Medicham. Grotle took out Candace's Sneasel. And Chimchar took out Snover and then took out Abomasnow. Now, between that, this is when we got some major team changes. This is where Chimchar evolved in Monferno and Infernape, and this is also where Ash released Gliscor to catch Gibble, and also before the official gym battle between Ash and, well, no, actually, there's actually the Grand Festival between that's also when Grotle evolved. So at the gym battle, even though it was a 3-on-3, Ash and Volkner, it was between Pikachu, Torterra, and Infernape, and then Volkner had Electivire, Jolteon, and Luxray. And as usual, Infernape got to beat Jolteon and Luxray, while Pikachu actually got to knock out Electivire. Now, that's a little disappointing, and it revolves around Torterra. I will discuss the disappointment that I had with Torterra in other parts and stuff like that. So this concludes this particular part 1 of the reflections of 4th generation. So I'm gonna cut it here. This is gonna be part 1 episode. And you'll probably see future episodes of 4th generation later on. Next time we're gonna go in a little depth into Ash's Pokemon next generation, or the next part, as well as what they did in gym battles and stuff like that, or did they do anything? And then we'll discuss the Pokemon themselves as well as their development. We'll talk about Paul some more. And Barry. We'll talk about Barry in the next part, and then we'll start heading up into the league and stuff like that. But for the moment, this concludes this particular part. So thank you for watching the first part of Pokemon Reflections 4th Generation Anime. In the comment section, talk about how you felt about 4th generation, or comment about everything that I commented about so far, or something like that. That was a little confusing. All right, so I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next Pokemon reflection video, or even Pokemon video, because I'm not entirely sure if there's going to be a in between. I'm talking too fast. Maybe you can understand what I'm saying. So I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Oh, man.